Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jefferson Davis at jeffersondavis.us. In this week's show, episode 23 of Kilos of Craic, myself and Brian F. at brianf.us and Dr. Don at whoknows.us or .com. In this week's show, we discuss everything from National Emergencies to Wildwood, New Jersey at the end of the show. Please stay tuned for next week's show, and the numbers are kind of messed up in the episodes, but I will get all that straightened out. But we just recorded this one today on the 16th of February 2019, and I'm going to upload it today, so it should be in your iTunes or whatever podcast app you use tomorrow morning at the very latest. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Far, far away. We're actually doing something a little bit different today. We're standing up. I've got a microphone on the stand, and we're standing up so we can talk more trash.
That or fall over and pass out.
Why, what are you drinking?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Ah.
Okay.
I don't have to drink or anything to pass out. I just fall over sometimes. I do, man. They can't figure it out. They think it's my B12 shot.
Okay.
B12 is low. They're thinking that's hoping that's why it is.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, it might be because I fell down one time after I started taking them shots, so it might be in it.
Okay.
But it ain't got summertime yet either, so.
Right.
I spent the last over 2 hours, fighting with Skype and my Skype recorder called Pamela.
Okay.
Well, they don't jive no more, and I tried to uninstall Skype or the newest version and install the newest version, or install the old version, and it's still doing the same thing and making me install the new version. So I finally found an app that will record with the new version that's free.
Cool.
So, yeah. I can only record 30 hours in 30 days, but I don't think that'll be a problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, we're here. So what have you guys been up to this week?
Got your glasses.
All right, now we can see.
Yep.
So all three of us are old crackers now,
Yep.
wearing glasses and.
Exactly.
Yeah. Working on the Volkswagen a little bit. Started making some new door panels, and today I was kind of mocking up some new exhaust tips.
Ah.
So I'm not decided if I want to run them in front of the back tire or behind the back tire.
Well, if you live in Pennsylvania, it's got to be behind the back tire.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's probably that way here. He's gonna have to find out the hard way.
They
might want to check on that.
They make me take them off. If I do it that way, they make me take them off. I'll just run the open header and be done with it.
Okay.
No, that won't work either. We have a decibel limit here. Actually, we have two different decibel limits. There's a decibel limit for private property, and there's a decibel limit for being on the road, on public property.
Well, it depends on it. Like the vintage cars, older cars, more people, especially if they're cool looking, they'll kind of look away. Or,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
But, you may have a rookie.
It's kind of like that. If you pat my back, I'll pat yours. Whatever.
Yeah. Unless you got one of these rookie cops, got to make a name for herself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. You wrote me a ticket for exhaust being too loud. Ooh. Good luck on your.
Yeah, that guy made the county a lot of money.
Oh man, California's upset about their exhaust law because they snuck it in at the last minute.
They're not going to do anything. They're a bunch of pansies out there anyway.
No, they're making them do it. They're charging them $1,000.
No, I'm saying the people.
Oh,
not the government. The people out there is a bunch of pansies anyway. So they'll say, "I'm so sorry," and apologize, and that'll be the end of it.
Go ahead, let them make their own country. Then after they make it their own country, we just come right on over and take it back from them, and then we, all your stupid ass laws.
Once the economy collapses, and what are they like? If California was its own country, would they'd actually still be in the top 10, right? Because their import export.
Top 10 economy in the world. The state of California. Yep.
Goody for them.
But if they were their own country, they would enact more socialist programs and be broke within 10 years.
Exactly.
Well, at least we wouldn't have too far to throw them other people over the border on their side. You don't like us? There's your socialists over there. Go with
I
that.
saw a meme the other day that was it was President Trump looking out the window of his airplane, and he's in the meme. He said, "What a shithole!" And somebody said, "That's California, Mr. President." He said, "We should put a fence around it too."
Oh, Lord have mercy. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But speaking of the president and national emergencies and the wall, actually, I saw a really interesting documentary yesterday about a military group building a wall. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
In Belfast, Northern Ireland. They also built the wall in Derry, Derry, and other parts of Northern Ireland, but they built the damn wall because of a national emergency. And speaking of national emergencies, Maxine Waters, the nut job, is calling for riots all over the country to express to the president how this is not an emergency. She's inciting a riot, should be censured, and should be kicked out of office.
Yep.
And we should have the first riot at her house.
Yeah,
There you go. But there's actually, speaking of national emergencies, there's actually 28 active national emergencies presently ongoing.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Nine of them enacted by Barack Hussein Obama.
Yep.
A national emergency is like a memorandum. It's ongoing until it's ended.
Yeah.
But it has about the same power of a little bit more power than a memorandum. But there's actually something I'm gonna run this by you. I've not had a chance to go into the law in depth and check on it, but the budget that they passed yesterday and the president signed is an omnibus bill. I'm sure you've heard that. And it is. There's all kind of spending in there, massive overreach, government overreach, more spending, more garbage.
Yep, exactly.
But what concerned me about it, other than that in general, when we're $22 trillion in debt, what concerned me about it other than all of that was the way this bill is written when it's referencing in the section where it's referencing, I did read this part, the wall. If they're putting the wall, okay, every city that they go through where they're going to build this wall, this border, this fence, they have to get approval for the wall and its construction by the city council and the county council, and they have to give them 6 months to deliberate in order to get approval. And if they deny approval, if they say, no, you're not building your wall in our city, then they can't do it. But what I was thinking is, because this is declared as a national emergency, can he overwrite that part of the bill?
Yes. Yes, he can.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah, it makes sense.
And I think that's one reason. Another reason he's doing it is just to cut through all that BS. Because otherwise, the bill is useless. Even if it has $1.7 billion for the wall, it's still useless because most of those libtarded towns, not necessarily in Texas, but in Arizona, they're not going to allow them to build the wall there. That was my question. Could he, overwrite that part of the bill?
Well, I think that would come under national security, and that would override everything.
Well, it is a matter of national security. It's a matter of a republic, a democracy. It's a matter of Hispanics, and this is something that's wishy-washy and nobody wants to talk about. And I don't like broad painting groups of people, but there is statistical data to prove these things that I'm going to say. But Hispanics come from majority socialist countries. That's what they like. They come here, they get on government funding, they work hard, and they pay taxes if they're legal, but they get on government funding and they support socialist and Democrat politicians. So the more of them, the less free, libertarian, old school Republican we're going to be, and the more socialist that we're going to become. Yeah. So that's why it is a national emergency. We don't need no more. I mean, also, it's just it's not a matter of hating them, but it's a matter of America being America and being free.
Right. And also that border being so wide open, not only that the illegals are coming over, but they're helping other people that are trying to get into the United States. So if say I was a Muslim, radical Muslim.
Oh, they've caught Muslim radicals at the border, coming through the Mexican border.
Some kind of Russian scientist, trying to get over here illegally to help make bombs.
The Russians did it.
The Russians did it? They're always doing it.
I was,
I thought this was pretty ballsy when I seen this. When when the Russian president was over there around the table and they were talking about stuff, they had file folders open, which the newscasters was kind of, videoing him talking, but also you could see the stuff on the table, and they were blatantly out saying that they're coming after us. They're going to start a war with us. I mean, that was pretty damn ballsy. Come on over here, we'll smack you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because our troops can't fight because they don't want to go out and learn how to shoot a gun.
Actually, we do have a problem. They're actually changing. I read this a few weeks ago. They are changing the training back to old school, or as old school as they can legally do, with the Army and all the military branches, because it's gotten so lax and pansified.
It is. I mean,
it's a joke now.
If you don't want to fight, you don't want to go and protect your country, then don't join the fucking military. Military is for war, and we go to war to help protect our country. If you don't want to help, don't join. If you want a free check, to stay at home and draw your damn check at home.
Well, a lot of people join the military to get the
signing bonus.
Signing bonus, but also the college thing, the
GI Bill of Rights.
The GI Bill of Rights, and I mean, I see both sides of that. They deserve something. If you're gonna go get your ass shot at, then you deserve things.
Yeah, but I don't.
And respect.
I don't think that you should go in and join the military just to get that
to
funding
go
to college to learn something else.
If you're gonna join the military, or you're gonna serve the United States in any principled way, civilly or militarily at all, it should be for the people of the United States, your damn family, for freedom, for the Bill of Rights, for the damn Constitution, for all of it. It shouldn't be any of that other stuff, but it is. And then you've got people that live in these big cities in bad neighborhoods. Maybe they're just trying to get out of a bad situation, but after they're taught how to kill and how to blow shit up, they go back home and join the gangs and kill people and blow shit up.
Yeah.
So,
which is retarded to do it that way, because you can basically go on YouTube and figure all that out in the internet. Google.
Well, there are people in the military now that are not even United States citizens. There's a damn program that, actually, I think the president tried to stop it, where people that are not citizens of the United States can join the U.S. military. Mm-hmm. We can teach them how to blow shit up. And when they come out, I mean, it's a program to become a U.S. citizen. But I think if you're going to be in the military, you should be a U.S. citizen before.
Yeah.
No, you do not have to be a U.S. citizen to join the military.
Which I think is crazy.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm sorry, but I understand that, you want to join, be a citizen of this country, and the problem nowadays is we don't know what someone's intentions are.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not 50 years ago when people really earnestly wanted to become a United States citizen and be a part of this country. It's, you don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and also just like from each other countries coming over using our college schools to learn stuff like medical, and then as soon as they graduate, they do your year or so over here after that, and then they hop back over to their country and they got it made. I think if you come to school from another country to learn at our schools, I think you should have to stay here for so long anyway. Unless, you cause them trouble.
There was a, speaking of that, there was a, I watched Stefan Molyneux. He's got a great YouTube channel. He does a podcast. He's a philosopher, but he had a guy on that was, I think he was somewhere in the Middle East. And he was in Germany going there to become a doctor. And he was talking to Stefan, and you gotta have balls to talk to Stefan if you're, if you fit a certain, if you fit this criteria, then you gotta have balls to talk to him anyway. But anyway, the guy was going to school for free. The Germans were paying for it. The Germans were paying for his housing. The Germans were paying for his food. The Germans were paying for his car. The Germans were paying for his phone. The Germans were paying for everything. And, Stefan asked him during the interview, he said, what are you going to do when you finish your education, your residency and all that? He said, oh, I'm going back home.
Mm-hmm.
So Stefan said, wait a minute now. What? He said, the German people brought you there. They fed you, have educated you, have put a roof over your head, have given you a car, have given you everything that you've got, and you're going to run back home when you get educated. Well, yeah, that's been my plan the whole time. I was cracking up because, he's like, and Stefan's like, well, you're not going to pay back the people that have helped you. And he's like, oh, I don't care about that. He said, I'm going to be educated and go back home and make a bunch of money and live great. This is the kind of thing that we've got going on all over the, in the Western society, is people coming from bad countries.
I have nothing against anybody wanting to learn and broaden themselves and make a better life for themselves. But I just don't think that, I don't know, some of these things, these people are coming over to learn at our schools hate us so freaking bad. They would tear our throats out their hands if they was able to. And then we teaching them, and then they go run right back to their country and using their knowledge for the bad. That's why I think. That's
Brian, your input on this?
Well, when I went to school at University of Arizona in the 80s, there was a large contingent of Saudi students there. And I have no doubt that they all got their education at the U and then went right back to Saudi Arabia.
And the U.S. government, I sure paid for them to go to school there.
Now that I don't know.
Yeah, well, they could have been, rich Saudi families.
Maybe we should tone our schools down to, if you're coming over from
stupid levels.
No, not stupid. I'm not talking about that way. I'm talking about, if we have a country.
We're already stupid.
If we have a country that majority of the people hate us and want to kill us, and wouldn't, not even a breath wasted on us.
The president tried that. He's tried to prevent people from coming from those countries, then the left went freaking nuts.
Well,
yeah, but he won that.
Learning medical and stuff like that. But when we're teaching these people that come over and learn how to use lasers and bomb making materials and stuff like that, I think that right there should be a big red flag. Hey, he's coming from a country that hates us severely. Do we need to be teaching them this stuff? But again, those countries are so pretty wealthy. They just buy shit from us anyway. So
yeah, it's like Saudi Arabia. If they're coming over here and they have the money to do so, then hey, whatever. If you go back home and use that to,
we don't care if you kill all our people, as long as you don't hurt us and you.
As
pay
long
me
as
well.
you pay for it, I don't care what you do.
Yeah, as long as you pay me well to get you this stuff, and you don't hurt my family, we're okay.
You ever seen the show Empire?
Oh yeah.
No, I ain't seen it. I've seen previews of.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen the hype for it.
Well, I'm sure. I guess that you guys have heard about. I don't even know how to say his name. Juicy Smollett.
Is that the guy got
attacked?
Accused of being attacked?
Well, it's come out now that two of the extras on the show have been arrested by Chicago PD for staging the attack.
Oh,
So he's probably going to be in trouble too. I don't know what they're going to do to him.
So is this guy like usually nice and easygoing and stuff? But now he's playing his part on Empire, so he's got to beef his looks up. Hey, I'm really bad guy.
There's been people suggesting that his part was going to be written off the show, so he needed something to stay on, and this was his PR stunt. But if you're going to say some redneck wrap the noose around your neck and calls you all kind of racist and homophobic things, the least you could do is come to South Carolina. I mean, Chicago?
Yeah.
South side of Chicago? Really? Really? You gonna find a redneck in the south side of Chicago? Unless I go there, there's not any. Oh, Lord.
Redneck, we'll come up there.
Or to go up there and find this guy and be like, hi, my name's Jefferson Davis. Nice to meet you. It'd be like, run. Chicken. I figured from the beginning that was staged. And, I mean, he was so stupid to use, Chicago. Come down south. Let's say he's in. I might kind of, sort of, in a way, believe Charleston.
Redneck.
Or Greenville, I would believe.
A true redneck would have, if he would have got accused and then, found out it was staged, the real rednecks would come after you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You don't accuse us, we're going to teach you.
Now, a real redneck would say, yeah, I wrapped a noose around us.
Yeah. There's 30 of us out there saying that.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. I don't know if he has a brain one in that head of his, but yeah, redneck in Southside Chicago, that just doesn't work.
Exactly.
He must have asked Alexa how to do it.
Yeah. How can I, what kind of PR stunt can I come up with to stay on Empire?
Alexa's like, let me see.
Yeah.
I got it.
I know where he made his mistake. He asked Cortana, the Microsoft version. Oh, yeah. Or, what's the one on Apple? I forget.
Siri.
Siri.
Okay.
She's
Miss
not
Siri.
the same. She's changed.
Yeah, she's not the woman she used to be.
Exactly.
She's growing up.
She's probably a transvestite or something. Who knows?
All I know is I heard an interview with, Susan Barrett, the original voice of Siri.
Oh.
And she said as of iOS 11, she is no longer the voice of Siri. Siri is a millennial.
Oh, God. Well, the voice on Star Trek, The Next Generation, the computer?
Yeah, that was Gene Roddenberry's wife.
Yeah. Mr. Star Trek, yeah. Us nerds unite.
I was down at the hotspot the other day, and some stuff come out of my mouth sometimes. I'm not even thinking, I'm just in my own world, and I hadn't been down there. And after I got my change from the girl down there, she's real nice, and we're talking. And I'm about to go out the door, and I said, Autobots, roll out. She about fell on the damn floor laughing.
Autobots?
Yeah, Autobots, roll out.
Speaking of bots, I watched Matrix Reloaded last night.
I like that one.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Revolution was crazy.
Yeah. Which one?
Reload is the middle one. That's number 2.
Okay. Revolution is the Keymaster. With the twin,
where he goes in that room and it's got the leader of the Matrix, and
I thought he was in all of them. Let's see.
There's all the TVs in that room. That's Revolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where they blow the building up and he's running through the fire.
Yeah.
If you pause that frame by frame, you can see all kinds of designs inside the fire. Because the people that do those techniques and stuff, they hide all kinds of subliminal messages. It is wild. Go frame by frame. You got to see it. It's freaking wild. It got naked women, sex, and men, and I mean, it's all kinds of stuff.
In what
Yeah,
fire?
When he's running through the building trying to escape, he's about to, I guess, fly out. I can't remember.
Matrix Revolution.
Okay.
Or is it the original you're talking about?
No, I don't think it's not the original one. It's not the first one.
I think it's the third. Revolution's when he's in that building.
two albinos in it. You know,
Well, they're in Reloaded. I know.
Okay, Reloaded. Well, when they're in, he's coming out of the room with the mini TVs.
Uh-huh.
The main guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's coming out and it starts blowing up.
Yeah.
And if you go through frame by frame, there's all kinds of stuff in there, and patterns in the fire.
Huh.
It's wild.
Huh.
Got skulls. They got, like I said, women, men, sex. I mean, and all kinds of stuff. It's wild.
Yeah, people that work in graphic design, especially on the commercial side, they put all kind of hidden messages in everything.
Yeah.
The advertisement's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what's that Halloween movie that you like so much?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas with the skull looking
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Well, in the theater poster,
Yeah.
the girl's sitting there beside him and she's jacking him off. And I never, really noticed that. And it took somebody.
Kim said something to me the other day because we happened to go by a car lot and we seen the new Jeeps out there. I said, "Oh man, I like how they done the Jeeps this year, but I don't like the
Seen the new Ford
the
Rangers?
parking lights or the turn signals on the fenders."
Right.
And she said, "I never would have noticed that." She said, "But you notice all kinds of little subtle little differences in everything. When I see you at the store looking at stuff, and you pick out the littlest things that could make a big deal to people."
You seen the new Ford Ranger?
No, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
they're pretty cool. They're like $40,000, but that's a base model.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Mustang they're trying to come out with now? Ford.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Hey, I'm not kidding. It is stupid, stupid. If you don't want a sports car,
Yeah, exactly.
then you buy you a fem car. If you want a sports car, which the Mustang is a sports car.
I don't know, man. One of the greatest cars ever was the Vega. You remember the Vega?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That freaking thing would fly.
Okay.
But it was a wagon.
Okay, trivial people. What was the
Okay.
Pontiac version of the Vega called?
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see.
I don't know, man. Dr. Don. Tick, tock, tick, tock,
I'm
tick.
trying to
tock,
think. I know what
tick,
you're talking
tock.
about. I've seen it. Let's see. Hold on a minute.
Is he going to get it?
Okay, come on.
Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
I can't remember. I'll have to give up on this.
The
one.
Astra.
Damn.
The extra?
Astra.
Astra.
Astra. Okay.
Eh.
I lost that one.
Oh, yes, sir. Eh.
I know we talked about the other car last week. What was that? With the the hydraulic suspension brakes and all
The
that?
Citron
the,
CM.
Citron.
Yeah.
Okay. Astra today for Pontiac version of the Vega.
Yep.
And then
My dad had a Vega, and it had a 327 in it with a 5-speed.
I thought they were
thing
putting
was-
something bigger in there.
I knew people
put
used
the-
to put 289s in them.
I thought he put that 454 in there.
No,
Nah.
not without cutting the whole front end.
No, it had a 327 in it, and it would fly. I mean,
Didn't he end up bending the frame on that one?
I don't know.
I know he probably had.
He
several
had
over the
about
years.
130 with me in it. And we were going down Slough Dam Road, going 130 miles an hour. Slough Dam Road's like this country road.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's got some.
It's
twists.
straight,
It's straight in some spots. It's got
Yeah.
some turns in it, but yeah.
which we were going, speaking of riding with him, we were going down 85 in the Porsche one night, and he had been drinking, and I looked over and we were doing almost 150. So
I was driving out to Tucson in 84 or 85. And I came out of Friday 5 o'clock traffic, came out of Fort Worth on Route 20 heading to El Paso. And it was a Volkswagen Rabbit, me and a Subaru, and a Porsche Turbo Carrera. And we all stepped it up to 80. And then we all stepped it up to 90 and started losing the Rabbit.
yeah,
And the Rabbit was gone. Then we stepped it up to 100. and we're cruising along at 100 miles an hour. My little Subaru was flat out for everything it was worth. And at 100 miles an hour, that Porsche did a little wiggle and pulled away from me like I was standing still.
Yeah.
I tell you what, me and my stepmom was coming up from Mississippi up here to South Carolina, and I was driving a Mazda MX-6 5-speed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was driving the last part. She said, "I'm going to take a nap, keep at the speed limit." I said, "Okay." She dozed off. I'm driving. I'm getting bored. I think it was a Camaro IROC, I think it was. And he come flying by. I said, "Hell, she's asleep." Pull on out. I got behind him, man. We were booking at 100 and 110 mile an hour. Flying down. All of a sudden, he darted behind the transfer truck and left me wide open for highway patrol.
Ah.
Oh, man. You're talking about, I'm caught. When I slowed down, when I took my foot off the gas, she wakes up, and I'm already back down to the speed limit, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror, like, waiting for his cop to turn around. And she said, "Where are we at?" And she just kept, I said, "I don't know. I just told her to stay on this road, you know." So she wakes up, and she's looking around. She goes, "Wait a minute." She said, "How fast was you going?" I said, "I don't know. It depends on how bad that highway patrolman wants me." I said, "If he catches me, I was doing about 110, 120. With me in the car asleep? Yep.
Oh, you remember that time me and you went to Savannah, and I got behind a transfer truck, and you were laying over there asleep, and this was in an S10 I had.
I remember that.
And
And a half a
the
bottle
truck,
of
yeah, we were on I-95. If you've ever been on it, it's just this long road that goes on forever, all the way up the East Coast.
Yep.
It's straight, and the transfer truck was doing, I don't know, 105, and I was right behind. Dr. Don woke up and looked over there. His eyes got kind of big, and then he fell back over and went back to sleep.
That was after taking a half a bottle of Clonopin was riding with Shane.
Oh, geez.
I think I went through a whole bottle that whole day, man. I was pretty messed up that day. Whew.
Yeah, we went to Savannah that morning. We left at like 4:30 in the morning.
For the Ireland
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day parade.
Patrick's Parade, yeah.
Stayed down there till about, 1 o'clock, 1:30.
I don't remember that. I don't remember
It was over with, about then.
Yeah.
Then we went to Charleston. That's kind of on the way back,
Yeah, kind of.
Well, it was on 95, So we went to Charleston, hung out down there for about, an hour or so?
Yeah.
2 hours?
It was cold.
Yeah, it was cold that day.
Breezy.
And then we got back into Greenville about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I was ready to go to the Irish pub. And Dr. John's like, "Take me home."
Yeah, I've had enough.
I was like, okay. I was wide open that day. It's a lot of driving.
Uh-huh.
It was like, I don't know how many hundreds of miles, but
A good bit.
yeah.
Well, back
Several.
when I was a kid, New Jersey's drinking age was 18. Pennsylvania was 21. And I can tell you about this one time. 5 of us got on 3 motorcycles, rode to Wildwood, New Jersey. That's a 4-hour drive. We went down the turnpike to the Jersey Turnpike to Wildwood, New Jersey, went into a bar, drank till 5 o'clock in the morning when they kicked us out. And all the bars in Wildwood, and that's what Wildwood's known for, they all let out at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So the place looks
time to
like
get to work.
noon when you get out of there. And some guy comes walking up in front of us and walks up to my friend Barry and goes, "Dave, I haven't seen you in such a long time." Holds out his hand. He's got a handful of Quaaludes. Holds up his other hand with 3 fingers going $3 each. So we all ate Quaaludes.
Oh.
Proceeded to do wheelies down the main drag of until one of the guys we were with ran into the back of the other guy. And we cleaned all the bits and pieces and parts and stuff that had fallen off the bikes. We got it all off to the side of the road, and we're sitting there arguing and yelling at each other, because these two just wrecked. And a cop comes cruising by, rolls his window down, and he says, "I think it's about time for you boys to be getting out of town." And we were like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly what we're doing, sir."
Even if we have to walk.
So we got all the bikes put back together, and we rode to North Wildwood, pulled into a gas station, and two heads pop out from the car that's parked there at the gas station. They were there making out or screwing or whatever. And all these bikes come roaring in beside them and around them. All of a sudden, they got in the front seat and left. On the way home that morning, my friend Jim got a bee in his helmet, and at about 45 miles an hour, stepped off his bike. My friend Rick was on the back of his bike, asleep.
Oh, shit.
So he suddenly wakes up to a bike with no rider.
Ghost Rider.
Oh, God.
Then we all pull off to the side of the road and we argue and bitch and fight and whatnot. And then we all decide Jim's not going to die from his bee sting, and we all ride home. Of course, when we hit Pennsylvania Turnpike, it starts raining.
Oh.
Didn't slow us down, just made us cold.
Yeah.
I can't stand even a mist of rain on a bike. This stuff hurts. Oh, man.
Yeah, and we were just kids. We were like 18, 19 years old. We didn't have anything like, rain suits.
Yeah. So every little drop feels like a little pin needle prick.
Exactly.
Now, I got caught in the rain one time. I learned real quick to pull over and just wait that son of a bitch out.
You have a long wait around here because it's supposed to rain for the next 8 days or something.
Oh, we're back into that typical winter circle where it's nice for 2 days, and then it snows and rains for 2 or 3 days, and then it's nice for 2 or 3 days, and then it snows and rains or freezing ice.
Just enough to make you sick.
Yep.
We get this rain here. It's a mist. I hate driving in it because it's
like a low flying cloud, like a fog.
Yeah.
It's every morning at 4:30. I mean, if it's raining at all, it's that shit.
It's not even enough to turn the windshield wipers on because the wind just enough to blow it off, but you can't see nothing.
Right.
It's horrible. So it's not fog, but it's not rain either.
Yeah.
So,
somewhere in between.
They tell me it gets foggy around here. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it gets foggy around here sometimes.
Yeah, if you go near I have to cross over the river to go to work, to go into another county, and I work in a different county. But there's a Saluda River there, which is a pretty big river, and it's always foggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Almost every morning, summer or winter.
Yeah. It is a bad spot for that.
Yeah. It's kind of a dip. You go down in this hole, and it's like, you can see the fog before you get to it. It's like, you got to go through it. It's like cutting through butter.
Yep.
Yeah, hope the bridge is there.
Yeah, I hope the bridge is there today.
Well, we have the Susquehanna River runs through the middle of central Pennsylvania here. And the Susquehanna River at Harrisburg is about a mile wide. So when I saw the Mississippi, I thought, no, that's a river. And then when I was young and was over in Europe, we'd go by these little creeks. And they'd say, like, oh, that's the Rhine River. And I'm like, that's the fucking creek. Or that's the Thames.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a fucking creek. That's not a river.
When we go to Mississippi, we'll cross over the Mississippi River, and it's, I don't know how many miles across that thing is. I mean, it's several miles.
It depends on where it is, but the Mississippi's like Susquehanna. It's a mile and a half wide. You know where the Susquehanna River starts? In Cooperstown,
Wow.
New York.
Cooperstown.
Baseball Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. It runs through Chesapeake Bay.